I'm not going to give you a reading update on this one. This one is actually to announce that I've made my own sort of little reading challenge to help me out because the TBR jar just wasn't working. I will still use the TBR jar, but like I was picking up books and I wasn't really motivated to read them. So I follow It's Bells on YouTube, and she does a reading challenge where she uses her tarot deck to pick her books, and she's assigned prompts to the tarot cards. Now, Bells uses the minor and the major arcana. I'm just using the major arcana. So basically what I did, I've got two name wheels. On one I've got all of the major arcana, and on another one I have, it was initially 365 prompts, but I took a couple off there. So what I will do is spin both wheels and get a prompt, and then when I get the tarot card, I've got to look at the meaning of that tarot card, and I've also got to find a book that goes with that. So we're going to do round one. I can't show you because it's on my laptop and I film on my iPad. Eventually I will get to that level. But, so we're going to spin for a prompt first out of 346, which is a lot. And there's quite a few on here that are way out of my comfort zone, so let's just see what we get. Hopefully it's something good. Okay, that one's alright. It's YA historical fiction. Okay. So, now we're going to get a major arcana prompt. So, YA historical fiction and judgment. Okay. So what we're going to do now, because I'm not a tarot person, I find them really interesting, really cool, but I don't necessarily partake myself. So we're going to look up the meaning of judgment. Spell. Judgment. So, judgment is a card where your past and future come together. Right. So we're going to take that very literally, past and future coming together. So, what we're going to do, we're going to find a YA historical fiction with either dual timelines or time travel. Okay, let's have a go. Opening up a new tab. Good old Google. Good old Google is going to give us a recommendation, and we're going to find one that either I own or I have on my Kindle, basically, when Google wants to actually load. And then that would be one of my next reads. Wait a minute. It's not past and present, I don't think. Because I thought about it, because I'm currently like reading one, and I think it's like dual placed, not dual timeline, which is a bit sad, because I have to start Kingdom of Back, which is set in the 1700s, but it goes between the real world and the fantasy world, but it's not like past and present, so I could stretch it, but I'm not going to. because I know there's quite a few books out there, historical fictions with multiple timelines or time travel. And before any of you say Outlander, I'm not committing to something that big, even though it's not YA. If it had just been historical fiction, that would have been a definite no. Because Outlander is huge, and seems to be very romance heavy, which is something I'm not a fan of, unless it's good old fashioned smut. And on the off chance that there is a lot of books that I own, I will pick out a few that I've really wanted to read and spin them. So first one that came up is Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I've already read. Then we've got The Lost Apothecary. I don't own that one. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is one that I own. I've read Malibu Rising. A lot of these are turning out to be war fiction, which is not something I own really, and it's not something I read really. So I'm gonna have a look and sort of dual timelines for historical fiction with time travel. So let's have a look for that instead. So we've got, trying to see if there's any that I own on here. Right, the only one on that list that I did own was The Vinyl Underground, and I hate it. It's not good. So I'm just scrolling through Goodreads now, trying to find something that's YA historical with time travel. Don't think the Discovery of Witches is YA. Outlander definitely isn't. I don't know whether Sylvain Neuvel's new series is YA. I shall see what it is shelved as on Goodreads. Okay, that is technically shelved as adult, which doesn't work. I've now gone to the Goodreads shelf that's dual timeline historical fiction, and I'm gonna see if I can find one on there that is YA. Otherwise, I might have to respin the tarot card because this is hard. The only one that's coming up that I can see really that I own is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and we do not want to reread that. So it looks like I'm going to have to respin tarot card because judgment is cast judgment on us and it is not good. I do not own anything in this area. So let's try again. Here we go. Okay, that time round we got The Lovers. So back to the meanings we go. And let's see if we can find something. Where is it? The Lovers. There we are. So The Lovers is a card that represents close relationships. So a YA historical fiction with close relationships. Much better, because I'm going to use the Kingdom of Back. It is a YA historical fiction set in the 1700s in Austria, and it follows Marie Anne and Wolfgang Mozart. Marie Anne is the older of the two, and she is a bit of a musical prodigy herself, and she wants to be remembered for it because as a woman in this time, her only worth to her family and to society is to be a wife, a mother, and she doesn't want that for herself. But obviously we know Wolfgang Mozart becomes extremely famous, and this also features a magical kingdom known as the Kingdom of Back, and that's all that I can tell you right now because I'm only 10% into it. So for this we are using Kingdom of Back. And then we will do one more spin to get my next book, and then I will update you on those as I go. So back to the prompts. Because usually I finish one book and go immediately on to the next, or I switch between if the genres are really different. So reading prompt number 2. Here we go. And it is a seaside romance. Okay. Now back to the tarot. and we got the Hanged Man. Right, so let's go find the meaning of that. Hanged Man. Right, so the Hanged Man tells you that sometimes small sacrifices are required to benefit the bigger picture. So, in terms of romance, I think small sacrifices to benefit the bigger picture typically comes as compromise, and that would, for me, typically say second chance romance. So, a second chance seaside romance. Oh God. Second chance seaside. Let's have a look. So I've literally just gone on seaside romance, and I'm going to see if I can find one that is also a second chance romance. They're the only ones that ever want to come up are like really old school romance. Right, so here's one. It's actually Beach Read. Because that apparently says it's a heartfelt look at taking second chances in life and in love. So Beach Read by Emily Henry is book 2. So I'm going to read Kingdom of Back and apparently Beach Read. And I will check back in with you when I've got something to say. Hey guys, so this is going to be my last update for tonight, being as it's 11:30. I'm now a quarter of the way through Kingdom of Back. We are getting more information. We learn that the boy from the Kingdom of Back that she's been meeting is named Hyacinth, and he is a prince, and he wants Nanarel's help in reclaiming his throne. Just to clarify, Nanarel is Mariana. They have nicknames, so they're Mariana and Wolfgang, but they're called Nanarel and Wolfro. and he wants to help him reclaim the throne. And this literally screams deal with the Fae, which never go the way they're intended to. And almost immediately after leaving the Kingdom of Back, Nannerl begins to forget something. She doubts whether it's real. And then they basically, Wolfgang shows he has an aptitude for not just playing music, but remembering extremely long pieces, composing. He takes to new instruments almost straight away. And Nannerl can feel her dream collapsing because her brother eclipses her in every way. And being a man, he will be afforded more opportunities. Like, he will be allowed to compose and things like that, whereas she is not allowed, being a woman. And obviously Wolfrill, still being a really young child, doesn't understand this, but Nannerl, being older, does, and it's breaking her heart despite her love for her brother. She ends up reclaiming her notebook from Hyacinth, and he sort of imbibes some magic into it and tells Nannerl that it's a path to him that she can create through her music. And then they receive the news that Nannerl and Wolfgang are going to perform for the Emperor and Empress in Vienna. So they immediately set out on the 2 to 3 week long journey there by carriage, and along the way the carriage loses one of its wheels, and Wolfgang luckily only escapes with a bruised forehead, but Nannerl knows that she saw Hyacinth just before that happened, and she's beginning to question his motives and what it means to have his help. But she sees a piece of music in these suspiciously placed rocks, and while everyone is out, she ends up writing it down in the back of her notebook. She composes a piece which she knows in doing so she's violated a taboo. And then the night before the performance, Wolfgang begins to hum the same piece of music, claiming that the notebook is singing to him. And this upsets Nannerl because it was something meant only for her, and now her brother has it, so she makes her brother swear never to tell anyone about it and never to play it because it's hers. And he seemingly agrees. So we're about to go into this performance for the Emperor and Empress, and I already have a feeling that Wolfgang is going to shine much brighter than Nannerl, kind of cementing in her head that her father is only going to see her really as someone to be sold off into marriage and focus all of his energies on his son. And I think that envy that will come from that will cause Nannerl to do something which might result in Wolfgang going deaf. So I think this is the point where the real story is going to take off. I will read probably a little bit more tonight, and then I've got a new washing machine being delivered first thing in the morning and a tattoo appointment. So I'm probably not going to check in back with you till tomorrow afternoon, but I will check in with you again then. Hey guys, so I just wanted to give you a quick update because I'm going to a vintage sale with my mum tomorrow, so you probably won't get any updates from me until tomorrow evening. But quarter of the way through this, I am going to try and read a bunch more of this today, because tomorrow on the train I'm going to be taking my Kindle, so I will be reading and listening to the audiobook of Third Daughter by Adrienne Tooley, which I need to get done by the 26th anyway, so I'm going to try and read a bunch of this today, but I am also really tired. I didn't get to sleep until after 3 a.m. and then I had to get up early for the delivery of my washing machine. So I did not get a lot of sleep, so I am seriously contemplating having a nap at some point. And then I'm just watching a bunch of reading vlogs in the background. I will probably actually stick on some reading sprints, just to kind of motivate myself a bit, but this is turning out to be not what I expected, but in a good way. So I should definitely be able to get at least halfway through, even with a nap. And yeah, I'll update you in a little bit. Was there anything else I needed to say? My brain is so scrambled right now because I'm really tired. Yeah, I'm updating a lot of different stuff. Obviously, this was the first book from my new reading challenge I'm doing. So this was a YA historical fiction with a close relationship. And then I did get a Kindle version of Beach Read by Emily Henry, which fulfills the second chance seaside romance for the second one. So once I've finished those two and the third daughter, we will pull another reading challenge because I've got so many books. Actually, what I did with my shelves downstairs, my two big shelves, is all the books that I hadn't read I turned this way, so you can't see the spines, to kind of force myself to read them so I could turn them around the way they're supposed to be. And it is kind of working. I have managed to turn quite a few around in the past couple of weeks, so yeah, I'm literally just going to chill in my bed and read. Will most likely doze off at some point. Give you a quick update because I was out all day yesterday. I did read a little bit more of Kingdom Back. I'm 35% of the way through, and I'm still really enjoying it, but nothing major has really happened yet. I'm waiting for that to happen. That'll probably happen by about the halfway mark, so I'm hoping so anyway. But it is the 23rd today, and I do have the third daughter to finish on the 26th, so I'm probably going to put this down for now, and I'm going to switch over to the third daughter and get that read hopefully today. The audiobook is pretty short, it's only about 8 hours, so I have that on my Kindle, so that's probably what I'm going to do today. I had a great time down at the Vintage Fair with my mum. We are going to another one in September, so keep you sort of updated on that. But yeah, I'm probably just going to read the third daughter today and chill out. I'm coming down with some things I haven't felt really well, so I'm probably just going to chill in bed with my book for most of the day. And yeah, I'll just update you a bit later when I've got something to say on the third daughter.